What's up guys, it's KhUnlimited. Welcome to episode 2 of Shotlocked to Kingdom Hearts. If you missed episode 1, you can check it out somewhere on the screen. And if this is the first time you're watching the episode, it's a podcast based on Kingdom Hearts. And if you want to know more details, check out episode 1, or I have another video where I explain what the series is, why I'm making it, and my schedule for it, and so on. But for now, let's get right into the postings. So welcome to the postings. The posting is where I talk about a new story of Kingdom Hearts. It could be new, it could be old, but just me giving my thoughts on it. Now, this one is from Dengeki, which is a magazine, I believe. It's an interview, I think, that happened. I wrote these notes a long time ago, I'm sorry. But there's certain points that I pulled out beforehand, and I just kind of want to go over those and give my opinions on it. Now, the first one is Scrooge opening a restaurant in Twilight Town. That was mentioned in the interview, and that to me honestly is pretty cool, because one thing I love about Kingdom Hearts, or at least in Kingdom Hearts 2 specifically, is that all the worlds seem kind of connected in a way. I just can't really explain why. There's a kind of a feeling like when I go to a world, it doesn't feel as isolating. Some of the other Kingdom Hearts games do, and in Kingdom Hearts 2 I felt like it was more connected, and in Birth by Sleep I felt like it was a bit connected too. So I feel like having Scrooge in Twilight Town is pretty cool. The fact that he was already like say in I think it was Radiant Garden, and then like Hollow Bastion, obviously, since it changed his name. I always liked that he was there, and Donald's nephews Huey, Dewey, and Louie were there too. I thought that was cool, and the fact that Scrooge is actually venturing into Twilight Town is awesome. I still don't understand how he gets around in worlds. He somehow has a power to, but seeing him in Twilight Town I think will be awesome. And since there's already, you know, shops there we've seen in Kingdom Hearts 2, him opening a shop there kind of makes sense. And being at a restaurant is even cooler, and I can't wait to see how that turns out. And hopefully we see more things like that. Hopefully we see more Disney representation in these worlds and make it feel like a more of a livelier, not only a world but world. I kind of want it to be interconnected in some ways. Like seeing Scrooge there kind of makes sense. If there's any other characters that make sense, it'd be cool. For example, I think it'd be pretty awesome if there's like a Final Fantasy character who open shop in Twilight Town. That'd be awesome. If there's some like Final Fantasy equivalent that does that, and you guys know that, let me know down in the comments below. But I feel like if there is a Final Fantasy equivalent who would kind of fit, you know, the story that he travels around and he opens shop, I think that'd be pretty cool. So yeah, I really like the idea of Scrooge opening up a restaurant, and maybe we could get something like that in other worlds too. But yeah, I just really like that idea in general. Another thing is that the gummy ship is to be taken care of from the creator of a side-scrolling shooter. And I read this, Nomura said that there's a, you know, creator of a side-scrolling shooting game and like a ship game, and he wanted them to take care of it. I looked at the, you know, the game, and I can see why he'd want it. And I feel like that's really cool, because I don't think I've ever thought of that. Like when I think of gummy ships in games, it's just, you know, it's been like, well, not in games, in Kingdom Hearts games, it's been something like, you know, we did the ship games, Kingdom Hearts 2. I kind of liked it, actually. I liked it. I never like went so deep into it to create my own ships and things like that. I kind of thought like the entire system was kind of daunting to me. I didn't understand it as much, at least when I tried it. So having like a person who actually, you know, works on these type of games actually create just this part of the game, I feel like it's such a good idea. Maybe it was like that in Kingdom Hearts 2 too, I'm not sure. I wasn't like, you know, into the news or anything at that time, but I feel like that's a really smart idea, and it kind of makes me think, or kind of makes me like imagine what gummy ships could be like now. Like, are they still going to be like the traditional one we had in Kingdom Hearts 2? Maybe it's going to be a whole new thing. Like, I don't know, really, it could be anything. Like maybe from world to world it could change up. Maybe like in one world is like the normal 3D style shooter behind the ship. One of them it could be side scrolling, and maybe they could do a thing where like from every world like it switches kind of the style of it. I think that'd be cool, especially when you have someone who's made an entire game. I feel like he may have the resources to do this, so I feel like that'd be kind of cool. I think I'd really like the idea where every different world there's kind of a new spin to the gameplay mechanic, or maybe the visuals. And yeah, I think I'd really like that, so I'll see how it is. The gummy ships look cool. I don't know if they give any more information than this, and I don't know if they're going to change more. I kind of want it to stay something like Kingdom Hearts 2, where you kind of had that kind of openish map. I think that was the best they've done. I didn't like how they did it in Dream of Distance, where it's just like the orbs, because what sucked about it, you could kind of see the entire game right in front of you, and it made the game seem so much more linear. And yeah, it just seemed very linear. But Kingdom Hearts 2, I remember like I started at this world, I went to this one, unlocked these ones, oh no, these are locked again, have to go back to the old worlds. It made the game feel like such a grand adventure, and it's kind of my favorite aspect about RPGs and like JRPGs in general. So like I feel like if they do the world map again, hopefully they stick to more of a Kingdom Hearts 2 style or a new style overall, which gives more of an exploration sense. I'm not sure if they would do like an open world type thing, like an open spaceship. I'm not sure if they mentioned that actually. I feel like I read that somewhere, but I'm not sure if they would do that. If they do that, maybe I'd be okay with it. I'm not sure. I'll have to see when it comes, but like adding more resources and giving a more focus to gummy ships, I think, is a good idea. It's something that we've only had in the mainline games, and now they're coming to such like an instrumental and huge numbered game for Kingdom Hearts. I think it makes sense to give focus to it. So I really like the decision that Nomura made with this. And the last part of the postings is from the same interview. It's Nomura talking about no planned online was implemented so far in Kingdom Hearts 3. Now when it comes to this, I'm not really surprised, or I didn't really have any expectations. Like when it comes to online, I don't really expect anything, and if he added something it'd be cool. Like I feel like what he did with Birth by Sleep, even though it wasn't truly online on the PSP, it was ad hoc, I really like that. I like that idea of the arena being able to fight each other, being able to do quests together. I really like that idea, and I want him to do something more like that, because every other kind of thing he's had, like the Kingdom Hearts have like mini games usually, and I know this is gonna be Kingdom Hearts 3, and sometimes they could like add like online with that. Like I'm not sure if this was online actually. In Dream Not Distance, there's a Flick Rush game. I don't think that's online. But like usually if they would add online, I could see it being in a mini game, which I kind of don't want. I want it to be like in a substantial part of the game, which uses the main mechanics of Kingdom Hearts 3. Like Birth by Sleep, they had the main mechanics fighting. You could fight each other. You could edit the color of your armor. You could do mini games. You can do mini games like the board games, which I actually liked. And you could do those mini challenges together, fight the bosses. I did that with my brother all the time. It was really fun. We pulled it off with one UMD. We found out that the way UMDs work in PSPs is that once you put it in and load the section of the game, you could take it out and keep playing. So at the time we only had one UMD, so I'd put it in, load up the level, give it to him, he'd load up the level, we'd play the whole thing. When he finished, we switch it again to save our progress. But I feel like something like that would be the best, but the thing is, he hasn't implemented anything so far, so who knows if we do get anything like this. But I feel like in the future I can see something like this, like through a free update or something like that. But at the same time, if he doesn't add anything, I'd be good. There's tons of games that don't have online I love. One example is, a lot of people were mad when it first came out, was Infamous Second Son on the PS4. Since this was like one of the first ones on the PS4, everyone expected it to, you know, have full online, have all these new features. But then it was just a story-based game, and it was really good. It looked better, and usually games that don't have a huge focus on online do get to put more resources and time into things like visuals, things like stories, things like what am I thinking? Like the single player experience, like the world and all, and things like that. So if they don't have any focus on online, I'm okay. And even if they do add it later, I feel like that's a better approach rather than adding it during the main development cycle, because I want them to put all the focus and resources to the main story and kind of, you know, focus on that. So like that's where I am with that. I don't really mind if online ever comes or not, but if they do add it, I'd want something like Birth by Sleep where you actually take advantage of the main mechanics of the game. But that's the posting, so let's go on to the reflecting report. Now, for this reflecting report, I'm going to be talking about dry forms. And if you don't know what the reflecting report is, I just take an aspect of Kingdom Hearts and talk about it, what I like, what I don't like, how I can improve, etc. So I want to talk about dry forms. And dry forms are an important topic to me because these are one of my favorite mechanics in not only Kingdom Hearts, but in games in general. I remember like when I first experienced it, it was so awesome. And for some reason, one of the reasons I liked it so much is that when you say, for example, turn to Valor form, and there's a cutscene, you were still Valor form, and that was the first time in a game where I experienced a gameplay mechanic going through a cutscene. So like every time Sora would be in a cutscene with his Valor clothes or his Wisdom Master Final, whatever it may be, it kind of blew my mind as a kid, because like I said, no game had ever done that, like from the ones I played at least. And so like that was one of the reasons I kind of like a nostalgia type reaction to dry forms. But other than that, dry forms I feel like in general are such a good idea. Like I said in episode 1 of Shotlocked, aesthetics are very important to me in video games. Like if a video game has like a bad aesthetic that I don't really like mesh with, I usually won't try it, or I would and I'd kind of like ignore it. But like aesthetics is cool for me. It's cool for me, yeah. So but like dry form is the fact that they kind of tied such a cool gameplay mechanic where they make the main character feel even more powerful, even more fluid, even more versatile, and at the same time give him a cooler, newer look for every level, like Valor, Wisdom, Master, and they're kind of better in their own ways. I thought was like amazing. It was like mind-blowing to me, the fact that if I wanted to, you know, have better jumps, I could use Valor. If I wanted to be more magic based and long range, I could use Wisdom. And Final is just freaking a hodgepodge and you're freaking like killing everyone easily. I just love the mechanic. I thought it was such a brilliant idea, and this was like my favorite mechanic I had seen in a video game, and I still think it is a pretty cool mechanic, because like that's really hard to do, like putting, like you already have like the main combat of a character, and the fact that you kind of change his move set for another form and another form and another form is pretty awesome. And the fact that you can level them up and then give their main attributes to the main Sora, so you could get the double jump from Valor, you could get the slide from Wisdom, you get like Finals glide. I thought that was amazing. It made the main Sora feel so good, and I thought that was a genius game mechanic, because like if they just had the drive forms itself, that'd be cool in itself. The fact that you could actually level them up, there's a motivation for you to level them up and give them to the main Sora, it just felt amazing. And I feel like that's something that we don't see that much anymore, at least from the games I play. And what I love is that they don't explicitly tell you this, I think, because I actually had a recent comment on one of my videos, I think it was on my Sephiroth one, and I was gliding around Sephiroth and someone commented like, how are you gliding? Like, how are you doing these high jumps? I can't do that. And like, I just felt some joy letting him know how you do it, because it's his first time playing Kingdom Hearts 2, and the fact that he doesn't know that and he found out, I could tell he was pretty happy learning it. And it's so cool. Surprises in video games are the best, and I feel like that's something so awesome. So I really love dry forms. Now when it comes to dry forms, you know, like how could they improve? I don't know if they are coming back. At first, I thought dry forms were coming back in Kingdom Hearts 3, but apparently they're not. Apparently they're tied to the Keyblade transformation, so I was kind of confused, but they technically do have names. I'm kind of confused on what the state of dry forms are. Like, I've seen like figures of second form and guardian form, but like at the same time, and power form, but like they're tied with Keyblade transformation, so they're not dry forms. So like I'm not sure what the state of that is. If you could use them on its own, then I feel like they're dry forms, but if they're tied with the Keyblade transformations, I see them more as Keyblade transformations. Then I'm not sure, because I feel like I've seen Keyblade transformations without dry forms. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm remembering wrong, because power form is the red one, I believe, and does any, I think, yeah, is a red one. Guardian form was a yellow one. I think he had the Olympus shield. And second form, I'm not even sure which one that was, but like I know it looks like Kingdom Hearts 2 Sora, but I don't know what Keyblade he was using. So like I'm not sure if dry forms are in Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm very confused on the matter, whether it's a Keyblade transformation or dry forms are separate. Like I said, I'm not like, you know, like on the pulse with the news. I'm not 100% sure what's happening with that. If you do know, if you have a better understanding, please let me know down in the comments. I'd love to know. But I'm kind of confused on like where dry forms are going in Kingdom Hearts 3. I really hope they make a comeback. I really hope they are there in full effect with many dry forms to use. And I've actually made tons of videos on dry forms. One of my biggest videos when I was first starting, I think it has like 30,000 views, is like dry forms that I want. Then I made videos based on, you know, like people, they commented what they want dry forms to look like, then I photoshopped their ideas and made videos of that, so that was very fun too. So like I really hope dry forms are in Kingdom Hearts 3. I really hope that they stick to the main basis of what they are in Kingdom Hearts 2. I don't think they're going to be doing it. Like I said, I'm confused if whether they're even in it or not, but if they kind of stick to the basis as like they fight very different, and I can see that happening with Keyblade transformations, and like as you level them up, it gives your main Sora some kind of new ability. I think I'd be pleased with that. So hopefully something like that is implemented sometime in Kingdom Hearts 3. But that's all I want to talk about in terms of the reflecting report, so let's just go to Dream Dive. So welcome to Dream Dive, where I take a dive into a dream I want in the future of Kingdom Hearts 3, and this time I want to talk about more serious story. Now this kind of ties loosely into the postings from episode 1 of Shotlocked. I kind of talked about the new story of Nomura saying Sora's gonna face more serious situations, so this kind of connects in some ways, but I want to go more in depth and give it, you know, its own time. So more serious story in Kingdom Hearts. Like I said in the episode 1 of Shotlocked, I'm not sure what that means, and I told you that if there's gonna be serious story, it's either gonna be like Sora's gonna have to face sacrifice or loss, like someone's gonna die, and not in the sense of like getting killed traditionally, but like they're gonna fade away like how Axel did or Xion did. And I feel like that's basically gonna be like the crux of what he means by a serious story. But at the same time, what I really want to focus on is a more serious plot and a darker plot. As we know, Kingdom Hearts is very lighthearted in some ways and dark in some ways, and they have a very intricate story in some ways, but at the same time they do have a focus on like this like lighthearted kiddiness in some ways. And that's why when you see people outside of the Kingdom Hearts fandom talk about it, they're like, how do you play that? It's for kids, obviously. And in a way they are right, and in a way they are wrong. So if Kingdom Hearts 3 has a more serious story, which it will, I'm hoping that it has a more, but by serious, I hope it's more mature, like it's a more mature plot. I don't want them to like just gloss over details. I want them to really go into nitpicky subjects. I wrote something here which I wanted. Yeah, so what I want is like more motivations. So like in terms of writing, I want that to be amped up too. So for example, like say Xehanort, I want to know his motivations of what he's doing. I don't just want him to say like, oh, I just want darkness to take over the world, darkness shall prevail, blah 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 blah. I don't really want that. I want like true motivations, why he wants to do it, if he has a reason from the past, if he has some kind of backstory, if he actually has a legitimate reason. And if we get this kind of lets us kind of be more diverse into the characters we kind of like. Because say he does have a motivation and some of us do agree with it, we might be sliding more onto the organization side rather than Sora's side, because Sora is more goofy and he's usually less serious about things. So like if we have a more mature plot, hopefully we get to see the motivations of both sides. So like if there's motivations from the Organization 13 side, hopefully we get more mature plot, dialogue, and things like that from the light side too. Like I want a reason to everything. I don't want things just to be like, oh, we're doing this, oh, we're going here now. Like I want like proper reasonings, lines of thought, and things like that. So that's what my interpretation was of a more serious story, because usually we just think of it as, you know, there's gonna be death, but I want serious to be tied in with maturity. I want it to be more of a mature plot. I want Sora has been growing with a lot of us, you know, through our lives, and he's like pretty much my age almost. I think he's like 18ish. I'm like 20 now, so hopefully I'm not like 20. I am 20 now, but hopefully like the plot takes for a more darker and mature turn. And I know I've seen a lot of people on the internet be like, this story better be the most darkest thing, it better like have so much deaths and things like that, and like let it be dark, but let it not be non-Kingdom Hearts. I like Kingdom Hearts has been dark, but they've always found a good balance between, you know, staying lighthearted and dark. Birth by Sleep was a very dark story if you really think about it, but at the same time it didn't feel like that on first glance. Like if you had a kid play it, they're like, oh, it's a cool game, I like it. But like once you actually think about it, it is very dark. And for the same, I want Kingdom Hearts 3 to be like that. I want it to be very dark, but at the same time feel very lighthearted, feel very Disney, very colorful, very goofy, and like stay true to what Kingdom Hearts is. Sora is that character that's very goofy, so when he does face serious situations, Nomura even said he'd be able to get through it because of his attitude, and hopefully we get to see that. But at the same time, hopefully we do, you know, we do get some kind of evolution from Sora. We see him kind of gain some new traits. We see him go through things that we haven't seen him going through before, and kind of, you know, change his attitude a bit in some places. So like he's not just really that same static character we've known since Kingdom Hearts 1 and throughout all the games, but like we see some changes, and by the end of Kingdom Hearts 3 we can be like, this truly is a different Sora from like Kingdom Hearts 2 Sora or from Kingdom Hearts 1 Sora. So hopefully we do get some kind of character development for him, and I feel like the serious situations may do something like that for him. But other than that, I don't think there's any more I need to say on this topic. That's what I want from a more serious situation from Kingdom Hearts. I want it to have a darker story. That's a dream I want in Kingdom Hearts 3. A darker story, but not too dark. Stay true to how Kingdom Hearts has been, with a great balance of like lightheartedness and a dark story. But the main focus I want is a more mature story. And this doesn't have to be just mature in terms of like darkness, mature in terms of writing, mature. I know some people want romance. I don't want too much of that, but that kind of ties in with it too. Mature, like just mature overall, and just make it not feel like some kind of like afternoon cartoon, because some of the games do have jokes where they feel like that, but at the same time they do have a lot of amazing points in the game. So I feel like if they just kind of like, you know who their main audience is, and I know they're going to be targeting some of the kids too, but at the same time I know Nomura's not an idiot. He knows who the audience is, and hopefully he kind of caters to them a bit, not too much, but like stick to your own vision. Hopefully it is just a bit more mature overall. But that is the end of Dream Dive. So I hope you guys enjoyed episode 2 of Shotlocked to Kingdom Hearts. Let me know down in the comments below if you had opinions on anything I talked about, the postings, Dream Dive, reflecting report. And yeah, so let me know if you guys had any criticisms either. If there's something you don't like about these videos, if you think there's something I can improve on, please let me know. Don't hesitate to give me any criticism. It could be as harsh as possible, but just please be polite. Like don't just like say you're an idiot or something like that. And like if there's anything you want me to change, just let me know and I'll take it into consideration. So thank you guys for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. I'd really appreciate it, and I'll see you later.